welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine, and in today's video we're going to be doing my 3-month postpartum update. I don't have the baby with me today. The first 2 updates, he's normally feeding, but he's actually sleeping right now. He's definitely a chunky boy to me. At 3 months, he's like, I don't know, to me he's a big baby. He's very short, but he's very chunky, and Julie was just the opposite. She was like, she didn't get chunkier till about like 6 or 7 months. Like the months where she starts sitting up on her own and stuff like that and crawling around, that's when she started getting a little bit more chunkier. But like right now he's just like a little chunk ball. Anyway, so I'm gonna go over his stuff first, what I feel like is important or what's different from last month, and then I'll talk about me at the end. He is holding his head up now. His head, like, he has been pretty strong since the beginning. I feel like babies nowadays are way stronger. So he's definitely strong. But now I notice that he's definitely a lot stronger than he was last month. It's less wobbly, it's more stable, he can hold it up for longer. He just doesn't like tummy time a lot right now. But I will say, when he's on his tummy, he does try to scoot himself. He doesn't get anywhere, of course, but he does try to scoot himself because he kicks his legs a lot. And then there have been a couple times where he has rolled over onto his side, but he can't roll over from his back to his belly yet. That's something that we'll probably start working on. I don't know exactly what milestone, like what month they actually start that milestone, but right now he hasn't. He's definitely pulling hair a lot. Anytime you have him in your arms, he's definitely grabbing onto the first thing that he feels in his hands. And a lot of the time for me, when he's in my arms, my hair is always in the way. So the first thing that he grabs onto is my hair, and baby grips are just incredibly strong, and it hurts like crazy, but it's somehow still like super cute at the same time. I don't know how. Another thing that's different this month than last month is definitely he babbles a lot. Like, he is loud. Like, when he wants to get your attention, he definitely gets your attention. He is a loud baby, and it's not that he's like crying or whining or anything. He's literally just babbling, and he talks, and he talks and does little baby coos and stuff like that, and it's like the cutest thing to hear. It's so freaking adorable. And now that he's babbling a lot more, he's also smiling a lot more too. And there've been a couple times where he's had like a little chuckle, but not like a full laugh yet. So I haven't caught it on camera yet, and he doesn't do it often, but he does sometimes. So like, it's hard to tell like when exactly he's gonna do it. So when I catch it on camera, I'll share it, but sadly right now it's just not happening. He also drools a lot. Like, he drools so much. For the amount that he drools, I don't put him in bibs enough, and I know that drives my mom crazy. Every time she sees him, she's already like, where's his bib, you know? But no, we don't put him in bibs as often, but I am going to be more, I'm going to try to be more aware of that, because he is like soaking his shirts a lot, and I don't want him to get like irritated or even sick from it. Also, his next appointment is not scheduled until he's 4 months. So I have no idea how much he weighs right now, but if I were to guess, I would say between 13 to 14 pounds, just because he does feel heavier than last month. And last month he was 11.9 pounds at the beginning of the month when he had his 2-month checkup. So between then and now, I feel like he's definitely gained some weight, and he does feel a lot heavier when I pick him up. And we're also still breastfeeding, which is awesome. So we are still on our way to our 6-month goal, which is great. It makes me feel really good. And I also love the fact that I don't have to carry all this extra stuff with me in his diaper bag. Not saying that there's anything wrong with formula, because his sister was formula fed basically the whole time, but it's just nice to be able to grab the bag and go, and not have to like wash out bottles and stuff like that. We're also exclusively breastfeeding. I think I said that in the last video too. We are still exclusively breastfeeding, so I'm not pumping, he's not bottle fed, and not formula fed, of course, which again, nothing wrong with formula, nothing wrong with bottle feeding. It's just pumping is still stressful to me. Like today, I tried pumping just because I want to do something in a couple of days that's going to require me to be away from him during one of his feeds. So I have to use some of the stored milk, and I kind of want to replace that stored milk. So I'm trying to like start pumping so I can at least replace 1 or 2 bags that I'm going to be using. It's like, it's stressing me out because I've pumped twice today. Okay, I've pumped twice today. The first 30-minute session, I pumped 1 ounce. The second 30-minute session, I pumped half an ounce. So it's like, if I were to rely on pumping, I would be completely stressed out, completely like feel like a failure in a way because I'm not making enough milk, because I know for a fact he drinks more than 1 ounce. Other than that, I'm not pumping. He's exclusively breastfed, and it's probably going to be that way until we reach the 6-month goal. And then I will see once we reach 6 months if we're going to keep it going. But right now, I'm feeling like I'm just going to stop it at 6 months or try to like wean him off of it, because I feel like that's half a year of being exclusively breastfed. So of course he's going to be used to my milk, and I don't know how he's going to be with like formula or baby or cereal or whatever. I don't think he can really start too much on solids at 6 months, but I think he can have a little bit. But that also means that he's not sleeping through the night. So I try to put him down at 9:30, 10 o'clock. So he'll be asleep up until like 2:30, 3 in the morning. And then after he wakes up at 3 in the morning and I feed him and put him back to sleep, he starts his cycle, I don't know, his routine, his feeding routine of like waking up every 2.5 hours to eat again. So from 9:30 until 3 a.m. he's asleep. That's his nighttime. And then after that, he wakes up every 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours to eat. If I went to bed at 9:30 when I put him down to bed, I would probably get like amazing sleep. It's just I can't physically do that. I'm not tired at 9:30. There's so much that I have to catch up on at 9:30, and so I end up staying up until maybe 1 in the morning. So I don't sleep very well yet, and I probably won't have very good sleep until after he's done breastfeeding, which is fine because we're now on a routine, so it is what it is. But that's pretty much it for his update. Now moving on to me. There was a couple things that I wrote down, but I don't think anything new has really happened to me. It's a lot of the same stuff from last month, but I just kind of want to talk about it. Now, one thing for sure that I haven't talked about yet is my period. I have not got my period yet. I know that when you're breastfeeding, it can come later, but I just don't know how much later it's gonna come. There are days where I do feel cramping and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll start my period next week or something, and then it just never comes, and then the cramping goes away. One thing, or actually 2 things that I'm starting to notice, that I did start to notice this month because I was using my belly band a little bit more and I was starting to work out more, is that I am experiencing upper back pain and also middle back pain. So I don't know, is that like the same thing? So my upper back pain, I normally feel it when I'm holding him for a really long time, and so I have to set him down. And then my middle back, it's not so much like my whole back, it's mostly just like right down like my spine. Like, if I could show you, it's like right here that I would feel it if I bend my back like this, like how I'm like just sitting like this trying to show you guys. I can already feel like the tension right there, and I don't know what that came from. I don't know how I got that. I've never experienced that before, so it's like I don't know how concerned I should be, because it's something that I've never felt before. And I've been noticing a lot lately, especially after I work out, or especially after I wear the belly band, which is another reason why I'm not consistent with it. Because I know when I first talked about the belly band, I had mentioned that I'm not consistent with it because it's uncomfortable, which that is still true. It's still uncomfortable for me to be sitting in the belly band for too long. But now I've noticed that after I take the belly band off, my back like right there in the middle of my back starts to hurt when I lean too far back. So that kind of makes me not want to use the belly band anymore. He's here, he's awake. Say hi. He was sleeping and now he's awake. But now you guys can see him. Like, look at the little chunks. He's chunky. He's like short but chunky, right? The next thing that I want to talk about was breastfeeding. So as you know, he's still breastfeeding. So for me, breastfeeding, I'm not going to say breastfeeding has become comfortable, but it's no longer painful. I don't want to say up until now because it didn't take 3 months for breastfeeding to stop feeling painful. It's just, that's always the word that I would describe it as. So now I won't say that it's painful. Breastfeeding is definitely not painful anymore, but it's just like, it's kind of something that I've just gotten used to. I've adjusted to how he latches on, which may or may not be the right way, but he eats, so it is what it is. I'm just glad it's not painful. Now, there are moments where it's really, really uncomfortable. Either if he lets go and then tries to latch back on and it's the wrong way, that hurts. Now, one thing I haven't done is I have not weighed myself. So I have no idea how much I weigh. I still feel like I'm not used to my body looking like this at all. Like, I'm still trying to make this huge adjustment. So that still is kind of hard for me to process every time I look at myself in the mirror. I will say though that the bloating is starting to go away little by little. So in my last update, I showed you a little boomerang, and I kind of looked like I was still pregnant in a way. Like, I was definitely bloated. The bloating has gone down. I have started working out more, but mostly on core workouts for DR, for diastasis recti, I think that's how you say it, because I want to rebuild my core before I do anything intense and anything that could possibly damage it more. Now, I was not like officially diagnosed by a doctor telling me that I had DR, but there is a separation in my abs and I could feel it. I don't know how big the separation is, that I have no clue about, but I do know I have one, so I want to make sure that I can at least reconnect it as good as I can before I do anything too intense. And with that, I am working out, but I'm not consistently working out, so I don't work out every day or any of that. I do it when I remember to and when I want to. So not consistent, but I do it and I have noticed a difference. Physically, I still don't feel true to myself, of course, and I'm trying to remind myself not to be too harsh on myself. And then emotionally, I am still feeling very overwhelmed. It's like, if you watched any of my pregnancy update videos, that was like my main topic. Emotionally, I was always overwhelmed and I always had so much that I wanted to do and get done and so much that I put on my plate. And it's still the same way now. I still feel very overwhelmed and very overstimulated, which listen, when I got pregnant with him, I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be hard. I told myself that all the time. 2 kids is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard because it's not like I'm babysitting and then I can give one of them back, you know? Like, these are my kids. So I knew it was hard. I mentally prepared myself and I told myself it was going to be hard. I never thought it was going to be easy taking care of 2 kids. But telling yourself that and then experiencing that is 2 different things. So one thing I wasn't prepared for is definitely being overstimulated. I did not think that I would not want to be touched as often as I do. And it sucks because my daughter loves climbing on you, hugging you, kissing you, jumping on you, being close to you. Sometimes she'll literally just sit on my lap just to watch her tablet. Or sometimes she'll just randomly, she'll come in my lap and just push her cheek to my cheek just because she thinks it's funny and she likes the feeling of it, I'm assuming. So all of that, touching and being in my personal bubble, I had no idea I would be overstimulated by it. And so I just don't even know how to explain it, but I had no idea that it was going to be this hard to kind of keep my cool, because I also have to understand that she's 3 So for her, she's just being herself and she's just showing me that she loves me and she just wants to be close to me. And like, I understand that, but my body can't process it. Like, if it happens too often in a day, I cringe, I hold back, and it's like, I can't be the only one that experiences this. I know I've seen videos and TikToks of people talking about it all the time where they're overstimulated, they're overtouched, and they just need personal space. And that's honestly what I need a lot of the time. I just need personal space a lot. And that was something that I did not prepare myself for while I was pregnant. Like, I didn't think that I would be this overstimulated, and it's just crazy. And having that feeling of being overstimulated and overwhelmed on top of it is like really hard to juggle and find the balance between, because it's like my mind is already kind of like racing and full of this long to-do list of stuff that I need to do and maintain and keep up with in my house in order to keep my house at a level where I don't feel like I'm going crazy. And then being overstimulated, overtouched, and just not feeling like I have a break ever is really like a struggle to balance. Other than that, that's pretty much everything that I noticed or wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.